Battle Beast! We are back with Battle Beast, and I'm so excited because after covering the whole Invincible comic run, I was like, where do we go from here? And then Battle Beast comes out with a mini-series of his own. So what this does is this opens up immediately after Battle Beast has crushed everybody on Earth. Mark, the whole 9 yards. And then he just leaves. Right, you guys remember that, right? That Battle Beast just beats the crap out of everybody and then just walks away. But Battle Beast goes back to his ship and literally he just starts screaming at the dead crew of this ship, right? The people that he killed, right? And he's just like, your tales of this Earth were complete lies. There was no challenge to be offered, no test of my might. I encountered not one single being worthy of my power. I would kill you all again in a more savage manner were it possible. And then in the middle of all this, the AI on the ship pops up. To be fair, they were under duress when they sent you to Earth. And Battle Beast is like, who's talking? Like, what is this, right? Now, part of me wants to believe that Battle Beast is just kind of looking around like a crazy person, right? Like Bigfoot in a Goofy movie when he put on the headphones. Like, what in the world is going on here, right? And he was like, you dare approach Battle Beast unannounced? And the ship's AI is like, I am the ship's computer. I have always been here. I was told to keep my presence a secret in case it provided an advantage in my crew's altercation with you. Now that they are long dead, I see no logical reason to remain silent. And what's the response of Battle Beast, right? I find your tone of voice irritating. Cease your prattling, or I will tear this ship apart until whatever drive houses your consciousness is destroyed. And the response to the AI? Yes, Captain. He just kind of sits quiet. So then you pick up with Battle Beast doing exactly what you would expect when he's flying through space in a ship full of corpses. He's eating them. He's eating the dead, which is pretty brutal. And even the ship chimes in and it's like, I've changed the tone of my voice so that I may speak. Does this please your ears? And the response of Battle Beast, I have endured weeks of silence aboard this ship. Your words are a welcome change. And so that's when you kind of find out they both essentially have the same goal, because the ship initially responds and it says, surely you must know my long deceased crew will not offer you proper sustenance in their decayed state. Why do you consume them? And he says, while I usually prefer a fresher kill, I have devoured far more rotten game in my travels. I expected to have reached a spaceport by this time. I do not know this quadrant well. And so as the two of them kind of start talking to each other, Battle Beast starts to reveal his origin. And he says, normally I would ignore your question as to who I am and what I'm about, as I'm not one to speak of my past life or explain my actions in any way, especially to a life form that is beneath me. But I realize I have not spoken to anyone for some time, and I feel I should share my story occasionally for fear I will otherwise forget it. Where he says, I was known as Thok on my home world of Dorn. It was a savage, untamed world. All we knew as a people was constant war. As I grew to fighting age, there was a rage that boiled within me. I was unable to contain it. In time, my strength grew to match my rage, and I view this bottomless well of fury as a gift. But as I brought peace to my world and the wars ended, my rage continued, even intensified, and I realized it was a curse. I had to leave the utopia I had created so that my rage would not destroy it. And now I travel the cosmos looking for a worthy opponent who can exhaust my rage, who can withstand the fury I bring unmatched to every battle I face. And he does. Not in this story, but he does in Invincible. You guys remember when he fought Freddie Mercury and that battle went on for 2 weeks? It was amazing. I won't tell you how it turned out, but son, it was incredible. And we're talking about Freddie Mercury, who overpowered Omni-Man and Mark without breaking a sweat. It was amazing. Dude, it was, oh my God. It was, man. Son, I almost want to go back and cover Invincible again. It was such an incredible fight. But kind of getting back to this moment here, Battle Beast tells the computer, I fear it is a journey without end. For all the time that I have been traversing the stars, I have yet to find an opponent who offered any challenge at all. And so that's when the computer's like, so let me get this straight. You're mad all the time, and you're always ready for a fight. And he says, yes. And he says, so you just want to travel through space looking for the biggest and most brutal fights? And he's like, yes. And he says, and so your goal here is to find an opponent powerful enough to test your might to the point that they actually beat you? And he says, yes. And so the computer's like, so I have a vast database of the cosmos, and I have access to countless data centers with endless information on the known universe. I could direct you to what would most likely be worthy opponents, but I am not sure I can be of service to you. Unfortunately, my programming prohibits me from deceiving living organic beings. The truth is, I was quite fond of the previous crew of this vessel. They were the closest thing I ever had to a family. So I am compelled by my programming to reveal to you that my end goal would be to find someone powerful enough to kill you. And instead of Battle Beast just being like, oh man, dude, that's terrible, he's just like, that's exactly what I want, bro. Like, give me that. Like, let's do that together. You find someone who can kill me out of revenge, and I'll find someone who can potentially kill me because they're powerful enough to do it, right? So, take your best shot. When the computer says, okay then, let me scan my database and see how fast we can end your life. Now, this is where you pick up with the next part that kind of continues on from that origin. Because this dude just like shows up on a world with what looks like some kind of a pipe looking thing out there in the distance. And when he shows up, there's just a face attached to it. It's almost kind of weird. And Battle Beast just looks at it for a second, he sniffs it, and then he's like, you do not fool me, creature. I know that you live. And immediately he wakes up, right? And then it's kind of cool, right? This exchange is really cool. He says, what manner of world in this present eon breeds a creature so obviously possessing such power that is yet so wise? It is known to me that these two attributes are too often at odds and are rarely found together in a single being, and yet here you are. Consider me impressed. It's flattery, right? This guy is trying to flatter Battle Beast. And as you guys know, if you try to flatter Battle Beast, he's going to make it your last time. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to help you finish with all your living. And so this creature keeps talking while Battle Beast says nothing. And he says, please forgive my failed attempt to deceive, traveler. I have been prisoner on this desolate planetoid for countless ages, at the mercy of all I encounter. Playing dead has been my only means of defense. I look upon you, and I see one who possesses the might to free me. I beg of you, my feeble and brittle old bones ache to be rid of this confinement. Please, allow an old and helpless creature the ability to live out my final days, neither restrained nor confined. And Battle Beast initially kind of gives him a bit of a look, right? Like, all right, this guy's a little bit sus. You know what I mean? But the guy keeps talking, and he says, you are not the trusting type I see. I respect that, right? If you choose to walk away, first, allow me to thank you for providing me a brief audience. My words have fallen prey to this empty void for longer than I can remember. While you remain, let me tell you why I find myself in such a state. I was the prince of a great empire far across the cosmos. My father was dying, my time to rule was at hand. My foul and brutal sister would not have it. She ravaged our kingdom, decimated our royal guard, imprisoned me in this cosmic nail, and banished me to this desolate world. I know not what became of my people. My poor mother, whether she lives or dies, remains a mystery. But while this dude keeps going on, Battle Beast is like, yeah, enough, man, and just like cracks this nail, right? And it's just like, let's get to it, home slice. And immediately this dude like jumps out and he's just like, you fool! I am the Colossus of the Emsui. I am the tyrant who conquered empires. I was the terror of the known universe. I have been locked away here for so long, I have been forgotten. But now my reign of terror begins anew. To free me, you weak-minded cretin, means death. And like immediately Battle Beast just jumps at this guy. And it's just like, I know your story, tyrant. I didn't free you because you tricked me. I know your power and I want all of it. And he's like, give it to me, and just immediately headbutts the heck out of this guy, right? And then of course, like, Battle Beast goes crashing down to the ground. And that's where this dude's just like, funny, right? Like, clearly you do not know everything about me. The first devastating blow that you received was from yourself. And so he's like, do you still want all of my power? And Battle Beast is like, I didn't hear no bell. And he's like, yes, give me all of it. And what follows is insane, because Battle Beast just starts tearing this guy to pieces, right? He's just like, as you wish. He's like, you are a fast one, and I am still groggy from my imprisonment. Do not let the fact that you have survived this conflict momentarily voluntarily allow you to convince yourself that you might win. That would be foolish. And so Battle Beast just like grabs this guy and like cuts off one of his fingers, right, in this fight. And he says, is that all the power that you possess? I said I want all of it. If you are still groggy from your confinement, I will grant you the time to recover. I want to face you at full power. And this guy's like, recover, you say? Well, I do it faster than most, and immediately regrows a limb. And so Battle Beast is right on the attack, right? And he says, you face me with mere toys at your disposal. My body is the strongest weapon here. And he says, my teeth will soon be grinding your bones to dust. And Battle Beast is like, that's a funny thing. I've got teeth too. And immediately just starts like chewing into this guy and literally chews all the way through his bones and tears his arm off. And so this dude's just like, okay, so that will take a little bit longer to grow back. And Battle Beast is like, I don't really care. And so immediately like attacks him back on the front with a sword, and he even attacks him with his own arm. Literally, he's beating this guy to death with his own limbs, which is probably the most metal thing that I think I've ever seen in an Invincible comic. It's something only Battle Beast would ever do. And so literally Battle Beast tells this guy, you threaten only with disappointment, monster. And like immediately this guy like grabs Battle Beast's head. And he's like, it'll take a lot more than this damage you've done to me, it'll take a lot more than this to defeat me. But Battle Beast is just like looking at him head on, because what he's done is while this guy grabbed his head, Battle Beast cut this dude in half. This battle lasted maybe a few minutes, right? And Battle Beast is just like, it is done. And so literally this critter, he's just like, if I am to die, it is enough that I do so freely on my back looking at the stars. For that, at least, I thank you. And so Battle Beast is like, whatever. He's like, you were imprisoned on this world for thousands of years. Tales of your might have grown into legend during that time. The legends were wrong. You were not a worthy opponent, and just starts walking away, dragging this dude's arm with him. Imagine a guy rips your arm off, beats you to death with it, and then just takes it with him in order to eat it. But as Battle Beast is walking away, this kind of like small whimpering voice comes out of nowhere, and he's just like, help me. Right? And it's like this small little critter that comes out of like this gigantic, monster looking thing. And he says, I do not know where I am or who you are, but I am Prince Salaka, heir to the Fantanian Empire, and you have felled a great enemy of my people. If you could find more compassion within you to return me to my kingdom, I promise I can make it worth your while. And so ultimately, like, Battle Beast just kind of looks at him. And the guy's like, are you gonna respond? And so like Battle Beast gets back to the ship, right? And when he's there, the ship's like, okay. He's like, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I wager that you are as deeply disappointed as I am to see that you survived this encounter. I will search my database to find someone or something more deadly at once. And that's where Battle Beast is like, see that you do. Right now, he's got this critter on his shoulder, right? And so the ship's like, who is that? And he just says, food for the journey ahead. And the computer's like, well, the giant severed arm, yeah. I could definitely tell that. That I could have guessed. Note I said who and not what. Who is that? And Battle Beast just like takes the critter and just throws him off to the side and is like, more food. It lives. It'll stay fresher for longer. Now this little dude looks kind of adorable, to be honest with you guys. So I'm hoping Battle Beast doesn't eat him. I don't remember if he appears in the original Invincible comics or not, but I'm hoping Battle Beast doesn't consume this guy because he's kind of cute. I want to see him live and get returned back home. And hopefully Battle Beast has a little bit of honor within him to do that. But with that being said, guys, we're going to bring this to an end. This is the end of the first issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you all later. Peace.